let's go to sport mode. So this is a really tight, narrow road. I like to take this before I get to the mountain. And it really rewards a smaller vehicle. My car is a CTS Sport. It's a little bit long, and you can really tell in some of these narrow corners when you have a longer car. So it forces you to take a line which is doesn't leave a lot of room. This car, the CT4, it's a little bit smaller, you can tell. It's no hot hatch, but it makes a difference. A little bit of a surge from the transmission when it's an automatic in sport mode there. I'm going to put the car into manual. Third gear does pretty well even in these tight corners. I found yesterday driving the same route, the engine is pretty torquey at the low and the mid-range. You don't get a lot when you run out the revs. It just kind of makes a lot more noise. But you don't feel like you're getting much acceleration. I think the torque must be dropping off and the power is flattening out. So you end up short shifting quite a lot if you want to feel like you're still going to go somewhere. Try to go at a pretty sane pace. You saw that there was a bicyclist earlier around the corner. I like to go at a pace where I can see where I can stop, you know. I don't want to drive around these mountain roads based on faith. You get deer, bicyclists, pedestrians, people doing weird U-turns. I've been through these roads where you'll come around a corner and a tree will just be blocking the whole road. So if you're going faster than you can see, you're not going to have any margins left. Got some turkeys there. That truck was coming around the corner right as I was pulling out, and he got a little bit surprised. Bicyclist really didn't want to pull over. Might have been the dad looking out for his family here. We're looking out for this whole group. I noticed yesterday the suspension on this car feels like it's a little underdamped. It's a little bouncy, and in some of these corners, you know, either coming into the corner in the braking area, or maybe especially coming into the corner in the braking area, the suspension unsettles a bit, and then you lose a lot of traction. So this car comes with Grand Touring all-season tires, so there's not a lot of traction there to begin with. But it doesn't really matter what tire you've got if your suspension is pulling the wheel off of the ground. You're not going to be able to zing around some of these corners like you could in a car that was better planted. My car has magnetic ride control, and the CT4V has got magnetic ride control. And that's a really good system with really good damping for a road like this. It really helps keep your wheels on the ground, improves your traction, and you can really drive through some of these corners. Right now I have to be a bit more conservative to make sure that I don't lose contact with the road. That's one of the reasons I like driving this road, is like it really puts the car through a good workout. Feel the body swaying just a little bit in some of these corners. Now I'm in fourth gear. I feel like that gives me, well, I'm going to downshift to third. But fourth was giving me enough power to keep up the momentum in those corners, and I don't really see the point in blasting from corner to corner, jamming hard on the brakes you're just gonna lose traction somewhere and end up having a weird day. A little bit of sway, losing the tires just a little bit on some of those bumps right in the middle of the road there. When I come off a stop with a little bit of gas, you don't get a lot of good feeling from revving out the engine. You know, you're better just riding the torque in the middle. Oh, this guy is telling me that there's a dog in the road. Yeah, see, I mean, all sorts of things can be going on. You don't want to be ripping around too fast. So I've driven this road in a BMW 228i, and I think that engine produces, you know, sort of a comparable amount of total power, but the engine feels revvier. It feels a little bit more lively. You know, you have more fun revving it out in a lower gear. You feel like you're getting more done. This engine is perfectly workable. You know, it keeps the car going, but it doesn't have the sort of, you know, willing character that the BMW does. Now, the 228i also, you know, suffered a little bit from the bouncy suspension that this car does. You get a 235i, M235i, and then you get adaptive suspension. That probably fixes that up. But the straight six in the BMW, you know, as great as the straight sixes are, I feel like the extra weight in the nose of the car would hurt the character of it a little bit. You can get a 228i with a track pack. I mean, once upon a time you could. That's probably the sweet spot, but have fun trying to find one of those in the used market. I think people who buy a car like that with a track pack, they buy that knowing what they're getting. They don't sell those cars too often. M235i's, you know, those are all over the place. Guys lease them, turn them in after a couple of years so you can find them. Up to 4,000 revs there for a second. I think maybe 4,500 is about as high as you want to go. After that, you just get noise. Some small bumps there, pretty well controlled. It's definitely the bigger bumps that the suspension isn't really able to deal with. all that well. Fortunately, we're getting near the top here. We've had some luck with a nice clean run. Haven't run into traffic yet. But the road is going to smooth out. This should be good fun. There's a pretty big bump. You know, if I'd been going faster, I would have definitely lost some traction in the middle of the corner. And there's not a lot of room for error. I feel like third is just maybe a gear too high, coming out of some of these uphill corners. But second is pretty short. There's another big dip. Definitely got some more torque coming out of the corners now. You can see that upshift, even in sport mode, it's just a touch on the slow side. When I drive these roads, generally I like to find the tallest gear where I can still get out of the corners without bogging down. You know, you can drive in a real low gear, but I feel like you're just converting gas into noise. You know, as long as you can maintain momentum, you're going to have a fun time driving. Oh yeah, so I just floored it there, and then the car wobbled pretty bad when I got on the brakes. That's something when you're in sport mode. I don't think the throttle is linear, because I was about half throttle and then I floored it and not a lot happened. And I got the same problem in sport mode in my car, where it just gives you everything up front and it gives you a false impression that the car is faster than it is. You know, impresses somebody, you know, they give the gas a little bit of a push, they think, wow, this is a fast car. But, you know, those people are not really flooring it on a road like this anyways. So that happens in my car in sport mode. The funny thing is in track mode, it actually makes the pedal more progressive, more linear. So when you're at half throttle, you're at half throttle, and if you want to go faster, you've got to push the throttle more. And on this road, and on most roads like this, I really prefer to be in track mode in this CTS-V Sport. So the steering on this car is pretty good. This is in sport mode. It's not too heavy, but the steering's very accurate. I don't feel like I'm fighting the car at all. You know, at these speeds, I'm not getting really any understeer, even with these tires. The car feels like it's just willing to do what I'm asking it to. And that's what I'm looking for out of a driving car. there's a big bump on the right side of the road right there. And you may have been able to hear the tire, you know, audibly let loose. And our acceleration stalled for a second. So that's what happens when you don't have great suspension, and also when you don't have a limited slip differential. That tire on the right side spun up, and then the traction control kicks in and just kind of kills what you're doing. Nice little bit of rotation in that corner. Feel the back end coming around just a little bit. It was very, very easy. Car definitely digs in mid-corner though. If you're in a smooth corner and you've set your steering, the car definitely feels pretty planted. Oh, and there's the sun. Got to put the sunglasses down. I'd calm down a bit in this section because I see a lot of guys coming through here in their trucks and SUVs, and they're just coming straight at oncoming traffic. I don't know what it is about this particular section of the road, but they love to do that. And I'd rather give them that extra second or two before they run straight into me. I gave it a bunch of extra turn in there once I was already at the apex, and the car's pretty willing to do that. You know, the front's not washing out. It's not fighting me. So the car is a good partner. It'll dance with you. Another one of those corners where you can feel a lot of lateral grip once you set your turn. Now we're really getting close to the top, so I'm just going to put it in drive and just take it easy. Let the engine cool down a little bit, let those turbos cool down. I like to go up to the top of the hill. There's no parking up there, but I just turn around, gives the car an extra minute, and then I sit in the parking lot. I always like to take some pictures up here. You can see the weather and the climate, different times of the year, different times of day when I come up here in a car or a bike. This building here used to be a Cold War radar station. You can see it from all over the South Bay, up on the ridgeline. And that is going uphill on Mount Umunhum in the Cadillac CT4 Premium Luxury.